Hello everybody. Tonight I was asked this today to show how I processed one of my photographs. The one that I was asked about is the black and white photograph that I did of Ramona Falls. So it's very low key, almost like nighttime. As a matter of fact, I did this one 2014, 2 years ago. So there's been a few things that have changed in my process since then. So what I'll do is I'll try to duplicate this and show you how I do it. We can do all this in Lightroom. So I've already got Lightroom brought up here, and we've got some photographs that I've taken at Ramona Falls one day. Very beautiful place. So you can see that we had some beautiful light, and we took some beautiful photographs. So anyway, the one that we're interested in, I believe, is this one. So I'm going to go in here, click on the develop module or the develop module here, and we're going to bring this up. And as you can see, there's not a whole lot of editing that needs to be done. It's kind of like the way it is, see? So I didn't really change a whole heck of a lot. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come into the lens correction and hit remove chromatic aberration, which I do on all my photographs. And I enable lens profile correction. So after that, I close this out. I'm going to go up into the basic module and I'm going to hit automatic white balance, just to show you that after you take the influence of the blue of the sky out, it looks even more just, you know, I haven't even edited it yet. You can see all my sliders here and everything are just the way they are. And you can tell there's hardly even any color in there. And when you see some color in there, it's a little bit of moss here or the brown of a stick inside of here. So in some ways, it's created its own black and white atmosphere. And you can see that when I took the photograph, I underexposed it. If you look up here at the histogram, you can tell that I've underexposed it. So what I'm going to do is show you how I process black and white in Lightroom. I don't come up here and do black and white in here. I don't do that. Okay, what I do is I come down in here, and typically you have a photograph that's got more color in it. When you do, you can come through here and you can adjust the tonality of the photograph using the colors in the photograph. But because this one here has very little color in it, and if you remember right, let's see here. Let's hit as shot. Let's go back down here to black and white and see if we hit the blue or the aqua, we can adjust different parts of the photograph according to their color. So the aqua is more kind of the highlights. And that looks pretty good. Actually looked pretty good the way it was. But I want to come up here and I want to do a little bit to make it a little bit brighter in the highlights especially. I'm going to bring my shadows down. I'm going to bring my whites up a little bit. But what I want to do is I want to come in here and I want to look at this. I want to make sure that I haven't overexposed or blown out the highlights in here. And a real good way to do that is to is to go in and hit Alt, or is it Option or something like that on a Mac. And you come through here, and if you want to cover the whole range of from black to white in your black and white photograph, hit Alt or Option, and I may be wrong with the Mac, and then adjust your whites and your darks, your shadows and your brightness, or your whites, I should say. It takes you to the very end of the tonal range. So you can see up here, it turns a little bit white up here. That's the brightest part of the photograph right there. That one little bright spot there. So when I do that and I pull my white or my black sliders back and forth, I can take that to where it's just about at the end of the white scale. And then the shadows the same way. You can see down here in this area here, I'm going to have darker shadows in there. So just as they're just being able to start to show up, then you know you've got it from completely dark to completely white. Then I'll come up here and make sure that I've got the highlights that I want. I might move my highlight slider down. You can see some of the lines and stuff inside of there came back. Okay. All right. Looking pretty cool. But now what I want to do is maybe I always fine tune it a little bit with the tone curves. I like the sliders. They're in Lightroom. I use them a little differently in Photoshop, but in Lightroom I like to use them just to fine tune this to my eye. You know, the way it looks there. Just hardly even touched anything. I did it mostly, I think, here to the brights, because that's what we're concentrating on, is the lighter stuff here. All right. And then what I would do is I would come down into my my detail area and then try to bring in a little bit of detail here. Looks like I missed maybe a little bit of movement of my lens or something. It's just not the clearest picture. But then again, it's not, you got water and stuff falling over it and the stick's moving, and I extend my exposure a little bit, and so it's not the clearest photo. But then again, it just isn't really supposed to. But we can come through here, and our color is not going to bother us any at all in this one, of course, for our noise reduction. But we will want to bring a little bit of noise reduction into it. And I usually kind of anticipate having to do that when I sharpen it. So I'll come up here and I'm going to try to, and this one I'm going to sharpen it a little bit more than I normally would. Just because everything really isn't really all that defined. And I really would like to have all of these areas in here defined a little bit more than what they were before. And if you can see, now I can see, but if you see, I'm bringing up back a little bit of resolution inside of there. I don't want to do too darn much, because then you start getting a little bit of texture and a little bit of fragmenting of the image in there. You can kind of recover some of it with the masking here. The masking will kind of take the sharpening away from the edges a little bit. And then I kind of like that. It's very subtle, even though I did it quite a bit, and I would really typically do it that much, but in this particular image I did. All right, now you're seeing it's pretty good. I kind of like it, but it's still not quite the way that one was on Facebook. So what I'm going to do that is I'm going to finish this up, I'm going to come down here to effects, and down here I'm going to find post crop vignetting. And on this one I'm going to give it some vignetting. So typically when I vignette things, I kind of don't want anybody to really notice the vignette. But on this one here, it really kind of focuses the eyes in towards the center of the image really well and away from the edge. I like to use this because I can adjust it through here, and I can also decide to recover some of the highlights if I cared to. It kind of see a little bit of it coming back up here in the corner. And on an image that's not quite as dark, it works a little bit better. So, and this, so you can feather it here. You can affect the roundness here, the midpoint, and how much is vignetted. So, all right. So really, that's all it is. It's pretty easy. What I do is not hard. So then I would just go ahead and either import it into Photoshop and do some sort of formatting for certain purposes that I might need, either printing or maybe I'll have some other purpose that I'll want to resize it and I'll want to sharpen it specially and or something, I'll do a little bit of something other. Yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say. If I want to do something else, I'll do it in Photoshop. Otherwise, I'll just export it out of Lightroom. So I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It's kind of late. Decided to do this past my bedtime, so I apologize. So anyway, that's how it is. That's how I do it. It's pretty easy. Like I said, if you got any questions, just ask me down in the comment section down below down there. Make sure that you share this if you like it. I'm going to put it on YouTube, so make sure you like it. I think give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Yeah, I'll be putting some more of this stuff up. And I'll also be putting this up on my website, so come on by and visit my websites, www.gary-randall. That's gary-randall.com. So anyway, thanks a bunch. I appreciate all your support, everyone. And take care. Keep taking pictures. Thanks again. Take care. Bye.